A lot of times, the way we're thinking has to do with parasites in the blood and toxicity in the blood. You see, there's certain parasites like the toxoplasma. The toxoplasma is a mind control parasite. Right. Many parasites cause you...
Hold that thought right there, Dr. B. We got to take a short break. I'll let you talk about toxoplasma on the other side. Folks, you want to join us? It's easy. Reach out to us at 800-450-7876 to speak to Dr. B. We'll take your calls after the short break right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Back to the Carl Nelson Show. On Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio.
Thank you, standards, folks. Our guest is Dr. B. Let me just remind you, coming up in the next few days, actually tomorrow, we're going to hear from a retired critical thinking professor, Dr. David Horn, just back from Ghana. He went there to all his festivities, the Back to Africa festivities. He's also going to give us an update on reparations. Also, the former African Union ambassador, and most of you have seen the story, she got terminated for exposing some of the corruption, if you will, by some of the African leaders. She's going to be here and tell her story. You're going to find out why they booted her from office as well. So if you're in the DMV, tell all your friends to keep their radios locked on 1450 WOL, where information is power. And also, I just got to know from the newsroom here that Byron Allen says he was pleased with today's ruling at the Supreme Court. They decided to hear the case, and they'll probably render a ruling sometime this spring. So Byron Allen trudges on to get his hearing about why he was left out when Comcast cut the deal to assign carriage to some other black folks and not him. Anyway, 800-450-7876. Let's go back to Dr. B. Dr. B, I'm going to let you finish your thought.
So, as a child, we were taught to associate food with love and, coming together, holidays. We were programmed that food was the most important thing that made us feel oneness, made us feel together, made us who we are. So it's a part of our personality. So your olfaction, which is your smell, your sense of smell was strong. That's one of the first things that developed when, in the womb. And then the thing of wanting more love, sweetness, eating, this is a instant gratification thing. So it's a habit, the way we eat. And a lot of the things we're eating are drugs. Now, many of the foods we eat are based on foods that come from the feedlot. They're no longer farms. In the feedlot, there's nothing but cats, rats, roaches, maggots, and whatever else on the ground. And there's lots of, toxicity there. So these cats and rats have this toxoplasma, which is a mind control parasite. It is the main parasite on the planet that controls the thinking of most humans on the planet. That's why we're so destructive, we're so separate, we're so angry and fearful and mad. It's this parasite. It's also known as Watiko. Some people look up the ancient Watiko virus. Almost every society talked about the Watiko virus, and they use many different, languages to talk about this thing that takes over society. So it controls what we eat. So to get out of the fast lane the way we eat, we've got to also detoxify from these particular parasites. Now, I'm not talking about your everyday parasite, because everybody's got a parasite cleanse, I've been on this parasite thing now for 20 years, but everybody's got a cleanse. But those are mostly affecting the intestinal parasites, and that's good. Use those. But the systemic parasites, Carl, are parasites that live throughout the system. They live in the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, all of the glands, especially the thyroid. This is why we have so many thyroid issues. A lot of people have diabetes because they have a parasite called the diabetic flukeworm living in the pancreas. You could take all the drugs you want. If you don't know how to get rid of this parasite, then it's not going to ever work correctly, you see? But the one that lives in the brain, toxoplasma, please look it up. It's the mind control parasite. Some folks have said it's maybe an alien bug that comes here from another world. It acts like it. It controls your thinking. It makes you afraid of things that you shouldn't be afraid of. It makes you talk disagreeable. You're angry all the time. You're upset. You're lazy. You procrastinate. You can't keep your mind focused on one thing. You're jumping from thing to thing to thing. And you're in everybody else's business but your own. Toxoplasma. Now, in order to change the way you eat effectively, you're going to have to get rid of that parasite and a few others. Because they will urge your system. They have these impulses that they put out through your system that cause you to eat the thing that keeps your immune system from being able to detect them and eradicate them. So they've got you eating things that make you weak. They make you fractured. They don't make you whole. Things that keep you from thinking clearly. Things that are causing diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, all of these things, they're all based in parasites. Now, the parasites may not have caused the illness, but guess what? If the parasite is present, then your immune system is spending time all day fighting those parasites. Because the body is always attempting to reach equilibrium, balance. You see, it's looking for homeostasis. And it's got to eliminate these parasites to try to get healthy, but it can't because there's too many. And then you keep eating more parasites. So what we did was we created a total body, right, parasite program many years ago to help eradicate these parasites throughout the system. You can't do it with just herbs. You can't do it just because you're a raw foodist and a vegan and a vegetarian. People want to say, I don't have them. If you shook a hand, you have them. If you breathe the air outside, if you gave somebody a kiss, you have them. Most people have them. Almost everybody has them. The thing is, what you're going to need is more than herbs. You're going to need essential oils, certain flower essences. You're going to need magnetic resonance. There's particles that we charge with magnetic resonance that we put in the program. You're going to need something that actually changes what we call your biosphere and the electromagnetosphere around your body. You've got to change the voltage and electricity throughout your system. So we took many years. We worked with scientists and a lot of other people to create this program that actually recharges your system. Now you can change your diet really easy because you're thinking correctly again. You're not living in fight or flight in fear. You're not pumping cortisol and adrenaline through your system 24/7 like most people. Most people are worried about what's happening on the news today, what the president said. What difference does it make? What about you? You know what I'm saying? What about you? You got to be the president, the governor of your life. So detoxification is important. And moving into this holiday, this is deep. I don't know if you want me to get into that now about this holiday.
We're getting that, man. We're taking calls for you. Mayhem's been holding for a while, calling from Indiana. Mayhem, you're on with Dr. B.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Dr. B, I wanted to ask you, as you're going, is this a theory of mine? Because I remember you always talked about the parasites. The one that you're talking about, can that, as you say, it controls the mind, controls the brain, controls where you think. Can that parasite have an alter ego that control a person to make them hate the opposite sex? Because I noticed, and also if your pineal gland's open, can it control that? Because I noticed, I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of brothers now do not like our black women and talk so bad about them. I'm trying to figure. I want to make excuses for them, but I'm just trying to figure out is that what it is? Because I never saw a decade where brothers do not like the African woman, and also can that parasite make a person change sex? If you understand what I'm saying, and I'll take it up there. Thank you.
Now, I can't say that the parasite can cause that. I can say that people have free will. And a lot of people choose what they choose because people for a long time haven't been able to choose. They haven't had choice. They've been in fear. They've been in fear mode. And a lot of people are waking up saying, look, I like A, B, C, D. And that's their business. We should not judge people for making their choices. I don't judge people for eating pork chops. You see, I sit at the table with folks. They got pork chops. I'm not going to judge that. That's their choice. We have to be very careful because the parasite itself will cause you to judge other people harshly when you, your own self, may have some things that you're choosing that's working against your true goals in life. You see? So we have to be very careful. We have to mind our personal business, take care of our corporation. This is what I think about that. I think the parasite causes us to judge, causes us to feel that somebody that doesn't look like us, you know what I'm saying, they're not good, they're bad. That's, xenophobia. Oh my God, look at those people. They don't look like us. They don't eat like us. They don't live like us. They don't sleep with the same people we sleep with. They're bad. See? That's some more of that religious programming. That's a subconscious program. I'm saying that it is the time for us to be who we came to be, whoever we are, and be honest. Be upfront. Be real. But also detoxify your mind, your body, and your spirit, because we're dealing with mental, physical, and spiritual parasites right now. And it doesn't have anything to do with the things you think. It's deeper than that.
All right, help us out here then. How do we start with the mind? Let's work on the mind first. How do we do that?
First, you got to make a choice. You got to figure out what it is in life you truly desire. What is your goal? Your goal, devoid of anybody else's goals. Most of the time when a person picks a goal is based on their friends, their family, what their wife or their husband's going to think, what society's going to think. What is your true higher goal? That's number one. Just get that in your head. A lot of times that takes a long time to filter out. Once you have that goal, you've got to act and feel, this is the truth, feel as if that thing has happened. Feel as if you're at your destination already. This is where meditation comes in. You devoid yourself from all other feelings and thoughts and opinions, and you focus daily. Take 17 minutes or 17 seconds or even a minute, and just focus on the feeling of you being in the place that you'd like to be, whether it's wealthy, whether it's whatever it is, healthy, devoid of illness. You focus on that every single day and make that a new habit. That's how you begin to train your mind. Now, I do have a course, right, called the Life Transformation Masterclass, which teaches you the techniques to actually change everything in your life, from your finances to your health, right, to the way you think, to the way you walk, the way you eat. Because we figured out that there was one little glitch in everybody. If you could change this one thing that's happening in our subconscious, right? If you could change that, everything would change. So this course is designed. It's a 9-hour course. It's on my website now at elevationtime.com. If you take that course and you do what I am asking to do in that course, your life is guaranteed to change. It will be one of the best investments you could possibly make. Because for me to say on the air exactly what to do, it's challenging because people have a lot of things already programmed in their head and beliefs about what could and what could not be. A lot of folks don't believe in the age-old miracle. They don't. They don't believe it. Everything looks bad to them. So we have to set up a way of thinking. We have to reprogram the thought process that moves us towards our desires by making it clear. Not just seeing it, but feeling it. You have to feel as if your desire has happened. That course online right now. And I would start there with the mind. And then get away from all the people who are talking using what we call the language of disempowerment. Because people talk very disagreeable. Even if you ask them what they want, they tell you what they don't want. I didn't ask you that. What do you desire? Well, I don't desire what. Only mention what you desire. Only hang out with people, right, who are moving in the path that you'd like to move, right? Or people who are already at the place you'd like to be at. Hang out with the right people. Gather with those groups. Don't just follow whatever they're saying on social media, because social media is being controlled, right, by social engineering. Some of those people who you think are making opinions on social media aren't even people. They're bots.
Well, hold that thought right there. I'll let you get into that on the other side of this short break.
Yeah.
Folks, our guest is Dr. B. The number to call to speak to him is 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls right after the short break, right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Not just 10 minutes, folks. 6 o'clock straight up in Washington, D.C. Our guest is Dr. B. Dr. B's based in Atlanta these days. Number to call to speak to Dr. B, 800-450-7876. Dr. B, I'm going to let you finish your thoughts. You're going deep there for a while.
So basically, everything around us, like our environment, we feel like our environment controls us. But the environment doesn't necessarily control us. It's how we perceive our environment. We also think that time controls us. It's not time that's controlling you. It's how you perceive time. So once you realize that you can move out of the environment by being within yourself and being whole again, that's what they call holistic health, right? Everything changes. Everything changes. Your perception, how you see things. So folks can be arguing in a room right next door, and it's not your business. You're not focused on it. You learn a certain breathing. You learn a certain way of eating, because eating affects your mood. Even some of my quote-unquote health food nuts, vegan, raw foodists, if they knew the science, real science, not just belief and philosophy, Carl, because belief and philosophy not connected to science is a problem. I need to know scientifically. Some of these foods we take to the lab and test them. They knew the science, real science, not just belief and philosophy, Carl, because belief and philosophy not connected to science is a problem. I need to know scientifically. Some of these foods we take to the lab and test them. So those foods sometimes that you think are healthy because they're in the health food store are causing you hell, because your body may not be able to absorb them well. Your body may be, you may be agitated by it because there is a type of dysfunction already in your body. Or you have lectins. Most of these foods have lectins. A lot of plants have lectins. Lectins actually change the way your body absorbs fat, hormones, and it actually has a lot to do with digestion. So some of these foods, like a tomato, philosophy, Carl, because belief and philosophy not connected to science is a problem. I need to know scientifically. Some of these foods we take to the lab and test them. So those foods sometimes that you think are healthy because they're in the health food store are causing you hell. Most of these foods have lectins. A lot of plants have lectins. Lectins actually change the way your body absorbs fat, hormones, and it actually has a lot to do with digestion. So some of these foods, like a tomato is known as the deadly nightshade for a reason, because the skin of the tomato and the foods we take to the lab and test them. So those foods sometimes that you think are healthy because they're in the health food store are causing you hell, because your body may not be able to absorb them well. Your body may be, you may be agitated by it because there is a type of dysfunction already in your body. Or you have lectins. Most of these foods have lectins. A lot of plants have lectins. Lectins actually change the way your body absorbs fat, hormones, and it actually has a lot to do with digestion. So some of these foods, like a tomato is known as the deadly nightshade for a reason, because the skin of the tomato and the seeds of the tomato have lectins, which are plant poison. Cashews, peanuts, you see, these are deadly poisons in nature. But we found a way to dry them out and cool them off and let them sit and salt them down and eat them. Wow, these are really good. But you have no idea. It just took 5 years off your life. You see? So knowing this knowledge, you can move forward and not just go and with the whole thing of it's lectins actually change the way your body absorbs fat, hormones, and it actually has a lot to do with digestion. So some of these foods, like a tomato is known as the deadly nightshade for a reason, because the skin of the tomato and the seeds of the tomato have lectins, which are plant poison. Cashews, peanuts, you see, these are deadly poisons in nature. But we found a way to dry them out and cool them off and let them sit and salt them down and eat them. Wow, these are really good. But you have no idea. It just took 5 years off your life. You see? So knowing this knowledge, you can move forward and not just go and with the whole thing of it's healthy. See, the social media thing is I'm doing whatever the social group does. We've always been that way. If the group says they got a stone shade for a reason. because the skin of the tomato and the seeds of the tomato have lectins, which are plant poison. Cashews, peanuts, you see, these are deadly poisons in nature. But we found a way to dry them out and cool them off and let them sit and salt them down and eat them. Wow, these are really good. But you have no idea. You just took 5 years off your life. You see? So knowing this knowledge, you can move forward and not just go and with the whole thing of it's healthy. See, the social media thing is I'm doing whatever the social group does. We've always been that way. If the group says they got to stone Johnny and Jane because they were witches and warlocks, we're going to kill them because we believe that they're witches. What is a witch? What is negative? What is cashews? Peanuts. You see, these are deadly poisons in nature. But we found a way to dry them out and cool them off and let them sit and salt them down and eat them. Wow, these are really good. But you have no idea. You just took 5 years off your life. You see? So knowing this knowledge, you can move forward and not just go and with the whole thing of it's healthy. See, the social media thing is I'm doing whatever the social group does. We've always been that way. If the group says they got to stone Johnny and Jane because they were witches and warlocks, we're going to kill them because we believe that they're witches. What is a witch? What is negative? What is positive? You know, this whole universe is made of dark matter. Dark in the dictionary is considered a bad thing. But guess what? The endarkment, the dark place, which is your subconscious, is where you're going to have to go to receive some real knowledge, to know yourself and not just have this pseudo spirituality and this talk. And, you know, we talk these words and we talk like we're royalty. We have no idea how deep it goes because there's 3 levels above the human that are controlling this particular dimension. These are the things that I teach in my classes and my workshops. So how do you get control of yourself? Because you're at the highest level if you know it. It's what you eat. You're going to have to eat a different way. You're going to have to detoxify the body every time the seasons change, whether you're sick or not. I'm talking about an entire systemic detoxification. You're going to have to learn to meditate. You're going to have to get clear on your goal in life because 2020 is coming. Now, just go back to 2009 and 2010. What were you doing? What was your thought? How are you living? And then you'll realize that set up a repetitious wave loop for 10 years. Most people started whatever they're into 10 years ago, and they're caught up now. Well, you're moving into 2020. You get a chance to change everything because the angle of the sun, the moon, the stars is shifting, and we're in this thing called the photon band, Carl. The photon band is what we have been waiting to happen for our planet, our solar system to go through the photon band where these beings called the biophotons come and wake us up. But most people are waking themselves up and having what they call a high vibration and being so positive that they don't realize that they're actually creating more of the problem. Because if you don't have a low vibration and a high vibration in balance, if you don't have black and white in balance, if you don't have everything at your disposal, then you can't make it. You just can't be all super positive. There's a time to fight. There's a time to be peaceful. There's a time where we must begin to choose again. And this is the time of choosing, Carl. The next 10 years are going to be powerful for some of us. If you walk away from the belief systems and the foods and the way of eating and the parasites, the drugs, all of this trash, and never mind what they're trying to do to you, what rights they're trying to take away. You know what I'm saying? They keep telling you how many people there are in the world and what they're thinking. How do you know? You haven't been to my house. So we have to take charge, and this is the time. We have a great opportunity right now, Carl.
All right. 800-450-7876. Let's go to Chicago. Ed's waiting first on line 1. Ed, you're on with Dr. B.
Yes. Hi, Carl, and hi, Dr. B. I'm calling. I wanted to get your take on a diagnosis from my son, who's 16 years old. He had a swollen lymph node on the right side of his lower cheek in his neck area, and we had it taken out. The doctors didn't think it was anything other than a swollen lymph node. It was taken out, and we were told that it was cancer found within the lymph node. It's a very rare form of cancer. I'm being told that under 1% of anyone, not just of African American, of anyone, is diagnosed with this. It has little to no age on it. It's under 10 years old. There's very little data. And they really don't know how to treat it, with the exception of how they generally would treat a lymphoma form of cancer. It's the pediatric version. It does not because of age, but it's a slow growing, less aggressive form. There's no indication on how it occurred or what could be done to prevent it. And I'm not sure if you're versed in that area, or I just wanted to reach out to you to see what you may suggest. I know you may need additional information, but that's about where we are now. They want to go in and they want to remove additional lymph nodes, larger lymph nodes, not as large as the one they removed, but they want to next week go in and remove additional lymph nodes. They're going to do an ultrasound to determine if there's been any movement in the lymph nodes since the diagnosis, which was in September. And so now they're looking to go in and remove additional lymph nodes, and we're being told that this will pretty much be a 10-year window, assuming that there's no other disease there found in the lymph nodes. It could have been removed with the initial lymph node. We're not sure that there's still any cancer that exists, but they want to remove in zones additional lymph nodes just to ensure that there is no spread. Assuming there's nothing there, then there'll be like a 10-year window until he's maybe 25 or 26, where there'll be, not go back and he'll have to, go under additional CAT scans and that kind of thing just to watch it, because it can be a slow-growing cancer. So wanted to get your thought, if you had any advice or any information on that.
Interesting thing is they know about the 10-year window, too, that I just talked about. Does your child eat commercial cereal in the morning?
Rarely. He has, as of now, it's sometimes. It's not daily.
Sometimes. And they have dairy and sugar, right?
Yes.
It's a cereal with dairy and sugar. I'd look at that very closely. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical nurse. I'm not trained by the medical system. I'm not a part of any of those associations, so I'm not going to treat anything or diagnose it, but you can call me at 323-931-1212. 323-931-1212, and let's discuss that privately.
Oh, absolutely. I will give you a call when you're off.
All right.
Thanks,
Ed.
Thank you.
800-450-7876. Yusef's in D.C. Yusef, you're on with Dr. B. Yusef on line 3? I'm not hearing Yusef.
Hello?
I got a tweet. Oh, there he is. Go ahead, Yusef.
No, this is Luther.
Louis, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just calling to say that what he's saying is true. When I was 50 years old, I tore my patella tendon. And the doctor, I had 2 surgeries on my knee. The first surgery, I kept leaking knee fluid. So he finally did the second surgery, and he took my patella tendon out. And he told me that I would walk with a limp all my life. And I said no, because I used to be with the Sour Set Society. And what I did is I did an oracle reading on some Chinese herbs, and I took about 15 to 20 different Chinese herbs. I created a vitamin formula for myself, and I used magnets on my knee. And at the same time, in my head, I expected myself to be okay. And today at 73, I can still walk. I can walk, run without a limp. I grew a new patella tendon using that system. And you can do whatever you want to do or whatever you believe or know you can do. Don't believe, but know that you're always going to get better. And don't take all of those chemicals that they're giving you, because it'll hurt you.
You know, when I was
Go ahead, Doctor.
my first day of 7th grade, my mother took me to the doctor, and I had a cyst on my chest. And the doctor said, oh my God, it's cancerous. He just looked at it, said it's cancerous. Oh my God, he's going to need cancer treatment. He's going to need this. He's going to need that. This is the first day of 7th grade. They needed to remove it that day, Carl.
They removed that. Still have a scar on my chest. The cancerous tumor was going to what? Control the rest of my life. I didn't believe it. So I played, I'm a percussionist, so I played drums every day and focused on whatever this was disappearing and me not having this problem. I have never had a problem since. I still have the scar. It's what you have been programmed to believe. It's a program. It's cognitive dissonance, and it's not true. It's a theory, and you're being programmed to spend your money and believe in something that is not real. The real power is within your spirit, your soul, and your original self.
Hold that thought right there, Dr. B. We got to take a short break. I'll let you finish your response on the other side. Right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio.
Dr. B, I'll let you finish that response, and I have a tweet question for you.
Once we get clear in who we truly are, devoid of all the beliefs and all the experiences that we've had in our life that we think are still happening, because a lot of times when you think about the past, your subconscious thinks it's happening now. Once you get clear in this moment and become totally present with who you are now and have the creative life force flowing through you freely, you get to change everything. And no matter what they're telling you, no matter what the consensus is, no matter what the society says, you have the power to change everything. But to do that, your body's got to be clean and clear. You can't have parasites and toxicity and chemicals in your system, because then your blood isn't clean. You can't think clearly. You're distracted. Your vibration isn't high, you see? So that, along with meditation, right, focusing. In fact, I'm doing a free webinar tomorrow night. So if you'd like to come, it's free. Go to elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com and sign up, because I'll be talking deeper about this, because these are the tools of transformation that we're going to have to obtain for the next 10 years. Because what somebody else has planned for you, right, is for you to be a zombie, for you to be a cash cow. You don't have to join that. You can leave the farm. There is a gateway. This is a specific technique. It's very specific. And it's not just, oh boy, I'm wearing African garb and talking blah, blah, blah. It's more than that. There's a technology of the universe. There's a technology to rewire your subconscious. There's a technology to go into the dark matter within the cave in your head and reprogram everything really quickly. And it's not hard. So that's what I'm offering, as far as, helping people do that. And then we have that class. I have a course. The course is the Life Transformation course right now online. Change everything. If you're interested. But it's time. The window is open. It's like what we call the enemy. They're fighting so much from within each other that we got free will. Well, free realm right now. But let's get focused.
All right. Before you talk about the holiday stress syndrome, Eddie wants to know, will you ask Dr. B if the parasites are intelligent and do they travel the universe?
There are parasites. They are intelligent, much, much more intelligent. They've been around. The ones on Earth have been around for at least 2.5 billion years developing technology. Now, they don't have like spaceships and things, but they do travel on specks of dust. They find them on asteroids. They've gone to every place that they go in the universe, they find life. Yes. This is why your astronauts, when they come back, are in quarantine for up to 2 weeks. If there's nothing living in space, why are they in quarantine? Just let them go home. You see? So, yes, there are very intelligent parasites like Helicobacter pylori, which is, for a lot of folks, it causes ulcers and heart disease and kidney disease. Helicobacter pylori, they call it H. pylori. A lot of people have this very intelligent bug. There's another one, Cryptosporidium. Cryptosporidium is like a computer system. Crypto means crystalline. This is a life form that's based on crystals. You see? And this toxoplasma, definitely, they're saying that toxoplasma isn't an alien. It's the drones of an alien beings that came here 6,000 years ago. And they began to take over the world and cause separation even between the tribe on the continent. They began to separate the people. They do a thing called terraforming. They change the energy of the people and keep them separate so that they can control them. You see? And, you know, a lot of times, you know, what you call in your government and the military, they know about this. It helps them. It keeps people separate. But yes, but we have found a way to eradicate this. It takes about 3 months of taking certain substances, you know, and we created that elevated total body program just for that. You see? Just for that, for folks who are willing to invest in themselves and do the very best. We have that. Or, you know, if it's not, you know, if you don't come to me, go somewhere and do the work that must be done. Because these parasites, a lot of them are alien. And yes, they are much, much, much more intelligent than human beings.
All right. Dr. B, what do you mean when you term holiday stress syndrome? Because we know we're moving into the holidays. A couple of weeks is going to be Thanksgiving, and after that, a few more weeks after that, Christmas and whatever else people celebrate. What is this holiday stress syndrome you're referring to?
Well, first of all, this time of the year, the sun is low in the sky. So we're getting less sunlight. So some folks already have, you know, they have seasonal distress or depression disorder, because they're not getting enough vitamin D3. So we're usually around this time, we're a little more agitated, we're a little more sensitive. Now we're going to go to the Thanksgiving meal where family gets together. And you know, a lot of families have a lot of unresolved issues. Things that happened 20 years ago are still like in the air. You know, there's this judgment about who's doing what, who married who got a divorce. There's the gossip. Then there's the food. What are people eating for Thanksgiving? Think about the holiday meal. It's so deep that even my vegan friends, they decide they got to make something look like a turkey. It's really funny. Why? Because you still associate the turkey with family, with goodness, and in the turkey itself. And a lot of these birds, they have listeria. They have these parasites that you can't even cook out of them. You see, people eat turkey and they get this, what they call tryptophan. Tryptophan makes you tired and lazy and sleepy. That's why right after you eat, folks go lay down. Half of them sleep through the game because they're drunk off this tryptophan. You see, the foods that we're combining were never meant to be combined. You shouldn't eat cranberries with anything, ever. This is a cranberry sauce with some sugary stuff that's been in a lead can sitting around in the store for the last 25 years. You're going to eat that. But those are the dressings, huh? It's dressed up to look good and taste good. You see? And a lot of us who are vegans, vegetarians, and raw foodists, when we get home, we sometimes slip. Why? Because the family pushes you. You want to be part of the family. You don't want to seem weird. They're already talking about you change your name. They're already disgusted with you because you don't go to the church or you don't call home like you used to. You don't talk the same. So a lot of times we have this internal stress that forces us to go ahead and break and bend for the family in the name of love. You see, we're stressed because this is the time of year when some people feel really lonely because they don't have family. Or they can't talk to the family, or there's been an argument or a problem. You know, it's like I got family members that don't talk because when their parents died, they didn't get all the stuff they thought they were gonna get. They was fighting amongst the siblings. They're still at war to the day. So there's a vibration that hits around this time of year just connected to the family that we're not totally familiar with anymore, that they're still fighting in war and discord with. Then we eat these foods that should never be mixed. It's crazy. Macaroni and cheese. First of all, the cheese itself has caseomorphine. All milk products have caseomorphine, or caseomorphate, which is a morphine-like substance. It's like Oxycontin. You get high off of it. You can't break it down if you're black, brown, or red. You don't have the lactase to break it down. So you get high off that. You get high off cheese. People get high off that cheese, man. Have you noticed that? They mix cheese and wine. Oh, man, you better be careful. You see? Then we're eating the macaroni, which is a wheat product usually, unless you get something made from a non-gluten type, grain. But that gluten creates gluteomorphine. It's a substance that comes from wheat that creates a opium-like substance in the gut, in the liver. You're high again. That macaroni and cheese. Well, some folks, that's all they want is that macaroni and cheese. In fact, in the health food world, we tried to fake it. This is a healthy macaroni and cheese, and it's got 29 chemicals to make it look like it's natural, because it's a game in our head. Instead of being able to say, no, I brought my own food, I'm going to eat a nice salad. I'm going to eat a non-glutinous and a morphated, morphated, is that a word? But you have to be strong. You have to have courage. You can't go in with fear. You can't look for validation when you're walking with family. You got to be God. You got to say, no, my doctor told me. Who's your doctor? Your mind. So people begin to eat right at Thanksgiving, and they eat straight on through the New Year. And all hospitals, all emergency people are on alert. It's called the window in the season of death. More people die from the stress, from the food, from that turkey knife. I watched my cousin cut his brother with that electric turkey knife. Yes, when I was a little boy, I'll never forget this. This thing, I don't know if they still had those electric turkey knives. They was upset about something. They were arguing. But think about how many people fight and have violence between these days, what we call the holidays, the holy day. Like I said, less vitamin D, so your system is already low in energy. You're eating foods a lot of times in this season that shouldn't be eaten because they were summertime foods. They're not even, where'd you get them from? They came from the other side of the planet. You see? You're eating a lot of preservatives. A lot of these foods have what they call excitotoxins. Excitotoxins are chemicals and preservatives or food enhancers, flavor enhancers that make food taste better. Shouldn't food already taste good? No. They need to put a flavor enhancer like MSM and MSG and some of these. It's like 50 different things that can be an excitotoxin, which what this does, Carl, is it shocks your nervous system thousands and thousands of times a second, and it causes you to be agitated. It will cause you to snap.
Hold on, do it right there. I'll let you finish on that. When you come back, too, I want you to talk about these new meat, fake meat that they have out there now, because a lot of these fast food joints are selling it, and they're doing well with it as far as making money. I want to get your thoughts if they should use those as a substitute for real meat. 800-450-7876 to speak to Dr. B. We'll take your calls after this short break on 1450 WOL, where information is power. Next thing, folks, I guess it's Dr. B on holiday stress syndrome, and we're sort of waltzed into this conversation about the fake meat, thinking what people are going to eat the vegetarians eat something they call tofurkey. That's a substitute for turkey at Christmas and at Thanksgiving time. So, Dr. B, these new meats that are coming out too, I want to get your thoughts on them. Are they beneficial for us, or should we just pass on them as well?
Well, they're beneficial for the person that needs to have that meaty taste and their feeling in their mouth. They're beneficial. They make you feel good, but they're not necessarily very healthy, most of them. And there is many of ingredients you can put together to make your own. But some of these are impossible. It's crazy. It's like, well, I don't know if it's worse than the animal or not. I mean, it's like what they call between a rock and a hard place. But if you were to eat one of these things once in a while, even if you were to eat a piece of animal flesh, maybe not chicken and maybe not pork, but if you were to eat something every once in a while, it might not harm you. You see what I'm saying? As long as your system is clean. What I say is eat what you like. Eat whatever you love. Now this is even more of a reason why you have to detoxify every time the seasons change. Because, when I grew up, of course, we used to have chitterlings and hog head cheese. That's some deep stuff. Hog's head cheese. How do you make that? Anyway, but they would make sure that we did some sort of a cleanse. They would give us these herbs to clean us out every time the seasons change. So if you're going to choose to eat however you're going to eat, at least do a cleanse. Get rid of the parasites. Detoxify your colon, your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, and your blood. because this is what's causing most of the illnesses: high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heart disease. It has to do with the way the way we think, which is causing you to choose the way you're eating, and it's also causing you to choose your relationships and the thoughts you're having. You see, they're all connected because people that eat a certain way think a certain way. But it is impossible, some of these foods, for them to be healthy. And if you're living off this, eating it every day, it's a problem. Now, one of them burgers, when it came out, I went down to try it. And I did eat food, and I realized that for 2 days, I couldn't use the bathroom correctly. So I didn't eat it anymore. But there are some of them that are a little better than others. You know, you have to do your research. But still, don't get hooked on any one thing. Switch up. Do some raw food once in a while. Do a little cooked food. But the more preparation we do of ourselves in the kitchen, make your own burger. Quinoa, lentils, take those and put them in the food processor. You see what I'm saying? And something like maybe some flaxseed to hold it together. Oh, you could make the greatest burger in the world. You could make a great meal, but you got to do a little work. And a lot of times folks
let me jump in here and ask you this then. How much of what we eat, though, is based on how it's prepared? The seasoning, I should say. That because they say tofurkey or tofu, that's what it is. It has no taste. It's just bland. And what makes it tasteful is the seasoning. Is that the key ingredient to everything?
Some of them is the seasoning, and some of the seasoning is the best thing in food because a lot of seasonings are herbs. But keep in mind, Carl, a lot of the flavor enhancers they're using in these meats are not seasoning. They're flavor enhancers. They're excitotoxin. They're preservatives to make these things sit on the shelf and look a certain way. You see? So it's not the seasoning that's the problem, right? It is the flavor enhancers. The chemicals, that's the problem.
You know, and having said that, the same product that we have here in the States that's sold overseas, they have different ingredients. They don't have a lot of the preservatives, say for the UK, for example. Let's use ketchup. They use we have a bunch of stuff in our ketchup, and they don't have it from the same company. I'm not going to mention the company's name, but from the same company. And I saw an article on it, and the ones that they sell us got a whole bunch of preservatives just to keep it on the shelf. But in the UK, the same label, same company, they're not allowed to do that. What's going on there?
Well, first of all, a lot of these countries have free health care, so they'd like people to be healthier. So they're not going to allow you to just poison yourself all day. They're not going to have it in the food at the food supply store. You see, here you pay for health, so of course it pays these companies. It's behooving to them to let you eat trash because they're going to make more money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money.
All right. We talked a lot earlier with the vaccines, and they talked about Big Pharma. How much Big Pharma, how much control over the health industry that Big Pharma has. Are they really have that much control about treating illnesses that we keep hearing about, Dr. B?
You're saying Big Pharma?
Yes, sir.
Some of the companies that own Big Pharma are oil companies. They also own farms. They own the grocery store chain. Some of the grocery store chain. They own they control the system. So what they do up top trickles down to the bottom. You see what I'm saying? So it's one big conglomerate system. Now, people are choosing this on their own. People are not reading labels or whatever. You're giving something to the baby. That's a baby food. Did you read the ingredients? You walk in the grocery store blind and you're just hungry. All you know is you're going to die. I'm so hungry, I'm going to die. No, what you're about to eat is going to kill you softly over time. It's about choices. I'm saying once you detoxify your body, once you detoxify your mind, once you clean up your home, clean up your thinking, then you can make more clear choices to make you more successful. And you got to protect your energy. Because our energy, we're being bombarded by so many distractions. In fact, I have a new product. It's called Clear Energy. It has the platinum that Dick Gregory and I worked on together to help protect your system and get rid of the heavy metals. It's got this heaven on earth. Heaven on earth calms your nervous system, helps you relax. And it's got essential balance. This essential balance, it helps to clean your gut out. Because that's where your gut feelings come from, your gut. A lot of people can't think because their gut is already toxic. Your original thought process starts in the gut. But if your gut is toxic, you are not going to think clearly. You're going to make some choices that are not best for you. So we have this new, package called, Clear Energy, especially for the holiday. There's another one called Security, which is just for your immune system. You see, you've got to get your immune system strong. Now, when you begin to do these things, you begin to repair your telomeres. The telomeres are the ends of your genes. There's a little cap. That little cap keeps the gene from breaking off and fraying, just like the cap on the end of your shoelace. The telomere has a lot to do with how healthy you are, how clear you think, your stress level, but most importantly, has a lot to do with how long you live and how long you live being viable. Because a lot of people are living long, but they're not viable. They're staring out of a window, feeding ducks every day because of, their body is breaking down much quicker than it should. So the telomeres, right, are the part of our genes that keeps the genes working correctly. In fact, the genie, I'm writing a book. In fact, my book will be done next week. My book will be done. Everybody out there, my book is finally done. I'm actually writing the sum up right now. 2 weeks, get on my email list at elevationtime.com so you can get my book. I break this down. Even the story about the genie has to do with your genes. And the cap that the genie is wearing is the telomere cap. It collects all of the information about the genie's causes and the genie's will and his focus, right? And when that cap falls off, right? Because I was watching an old story. When the genie's cap fall off, he lost his power. Well, the telomere cap is the cap around your genes, which is your genie. And it's breaking off because of the stress, because of the belief system, because of the food. So that's why when Dick Gregory came to me years ago and he said, look, we got to work on these telomeres. So we helped to create this product called Platinum Life Elixir. It repairs telomeres. It helps your body regain the electrical potential that it needs to move through today's daily challenges. It also helps to get rid of heavy metals. It helps you think clearly. It decalcifies the pineal gland. That pineal gland has got to do with your knowing. You know what I'm saying? That you get that feeling. You're perceiving information before things happen. It's got to do with intuition. And most people's pineal gland is calcified because of, the stress and the food and all the things we've done. So that Platinum Life helps to repair the telomeres. You see, it's very important for us to get the nutrients that are like what we call gold, platinum, iridium. Iridium is a very important metal or mineral. Iridium has to do with timing. Iridium is big time in the soil in the Caribbean. The people down there, if you notice the way they talk, the rhythm, the tone, and their timing is impeccable. They just kind of know stuff because there's a lot of iridium in that soil. You see? Yes, it's huge, especially in Haiti. Haiti has a lot of iridium. Some of the biggest iridium mines in the world are in Haiti. That's why they got to keep that spot poor. Because once the people begin to realize how powerful iridium is for their timing, knowing when to be quiet, when to talk, when to move, when to be quiet, when for the body to heal, iridium. So we put the iridium in that product called Platinum Life Elixir. But that alone, and one new thing, Carl, we discovered just in the last 9 weeks how important lithium was. We found a very good source, a lithium spring right here in Georgia. And we use that water to process the products now. Man, it changes everything because that brings up the electrical potential of every organ in the body. Lithium, that's what your battery's made of. But your body needs electricity too because we're turning the sunlight into electricity. We're biophotoic. We turn electric sunlight.
We got to take a short break. And folks also give out these phone numbers that Ms. Hughes gave out earlier today. If you want to go on that bus trip to Philly or you want tickets to go to the MGM concert, I got the numbers for that as well. As I mentioned, we're going to take a short break. We come back with Dr. B right here on 1450 WOL, where information is power. Tomorrow we're going to speak critical thinking professor, Dr. David Horn. Dr. Horn is just back from Ghana, and also is going to give us an update on reparations. Also, we're going to hear from the former head of the African Union, ambassador from the African Union to the United States, I should say. She was terminated after exposing some of the things that were going on, especially in the Francophone countries. So you need to hear about what she has to say. She's going to be with us tomorrow. Also, Ms. Hughes was on, the vice president or vice chairman or the chairman. I'm getting a title messed up. Well, she's the founder of Radio 1, by the way, and she's having a bus trip going to Philadelphia for an art showing. If you want more information, she's requested you call Trina at 301-429-4668. That's 301-429-4668. That's this week in that bus trip to Philly for that art exhibit. Also, the MGM, Radio 1 or Urban 1, is going to have their honors, their show, big show, December 5th. And for more information on that, just call 800-745-3000. That's 800-745-3000. All right, let's go back to Dr. B. And Dr. B, I got a tweet question for you, but I'll let you finish your thought.
I can't even remember where I was now. I started thinking about the KCO-morphines again.
But you and Dick Gregory came up with that. I remember that you came up with when Greg was here about the elixir, to prolong the telomeres. Tell us how that is.
Well, what happened was, I had a product already, and I gave some to Mr. Gregory, and he was like, wow, this is incredible. He says, but you need to make something stronger. And he began to point out some plants and some substances that I had never even heard of. See, Dick Gregory and I, we only talked about herbs, metaphysics, the cosmos, the universal God. That's all we ever talked about. I mean, I met him in 1995. He took me under his wing, and that's all he did was just download them. A lot of people don't know this man he was an herbalist. I mean, he made the first protein shake. So when he started downloading these things and he started telling me about things that were growing around my home, now he had never been to my home, but there's 5 plants growing in my yard. I don't know how he knew it, that are very life-prolonging plants that the Chinese brought to the Atlanta area, right, when they were building the railroad. They brought a lot of their indigenous healing plants. So, we took the product that used to be called Platinum, and we changed it to Platinum Life, and then we called it the Gregory Reserve because he was, he was very, instrumental in taking it to that next level. Now, I never meant for it to be a public product. It was only for Mr. Gregory. But he went on the road around the country. People were calling me from everywhere wanting this product. And they didn't care what it cost because it's the price. It's pricey. It's very expensive because it's the gold and the iridium and the rhodium and not rhodium, but platinum and the lithium that's in it. They're higher end elements, you see. But it became a big thing, and it just started changing folks' lives, especially because of the issue of heavy metals. Folks got fillings in their teeth. They're breathing air conditioning. They're around chemicals. You got your what so-called chemtrails and all this pollution in the air. Those are heavy metals, and they're in everybody, no matter how you eat. And it's challenging to get rid of those. So we figured out that humic acid, fulvic acid, and another product actually go in and begin to absorb the the chemicals, the heavy metals, and dissolve them. They either send them to the liver to be reconditioned or takes them and dissolves them and pushes them out. It's very, very powerful. It's called Platinum Life Elixir Gregory Reserve. And we have a brand new version of it that just came out this week, that now has the lithium water from the lithium springs. And you start studying lithium water, and it's huge. It's very important because it's about electricity and the bioelectrical system that we have. We turn sunlight into electricity, you see. So that's that platinum. But I'm going to be talking about a lot of those things tomorrow night on the free webinar. Go to elevationtime.com, and click on events. And you'll see the webinar. You'll also see my class that I'm teaching, and you can join the class and, learn more about the things I'm talking about tonight, and also get on my email list so that you can, get newsletters about a lot of new things. In fact, you'll notice that our website is brand new. We've done a lot of upgrades, so we can keep in time with this 2020 because things are going to be moving really quickly and smoothly. It's our time, Carl.
Right. And I just got a tweet from one of our London listeners who's saying they talk about the ketchup and says the real answer to the question is about the EU regulations, which are the very stringent rules regarding the process of food. And one of the biggest fears of Brexit is that the relaxing of regulations allowing U.S. food companies to move in. And you know, they're really concerned about the food that comes in from the United States. It's a big concern because of the UK food standard industry. No what is this? No GM chlorinated chicken, thank you. And it also adds that the health service is now free to pay through their taxes. So it's a whole different setup over there. But the food, they really take their food seriously. And anybody who's traveled, you know, or when you go there, just look at the ingredients, or you know, just take a copy. Or if you know some folks over there, just tell them, send you a copy. What's in one of the stuff that we have that they have. And I mentioned ketchup because that was let me just say it was Heinz ketchup anyway. So that was it. And they showed the differences, what's in the UK one and the one in the US. And the one that we have, man, it's just got a lot of preservatives. And I don't know if there's a difference in the taste, but you probably have to have both of them to really see if there's a difference. But they're really stringent. And I'm thankful for our listeners in the UK for sharing that with us, because that's one of the issues coming up with Brexit as well. You know, speaking about that, though, Dr. B, the seasons are changing. You're saying that we should have a detox every time the season changes. And this is for the brothers who were in London and where it's cold, even in the East, DC, the Midwest, it was really cold. Because I'm trying to think of which one of the philosophers we had on. It says we are children of the sun. We should live around the equator. We shouldn't be living in those Arctic climes. I want to get your thoughts on all of that. Should we be living around it, closer to the sun? Is the sun our friend?
The sun is our friend, and if we can't live closer to the sun, we have to have more vitamin D3. And one way to get that is sunflower seeds. You know, certain seeds have that vitamin D3. Or get a supplement of vitamin D3 to get more sunlight, or to get more of the electrical flow that the sun radiates. Yes, but it would be best if we were to live closer to the sun, or in the sun, what we call the sun belt. But because everybody can't do that, then there are some things that you can do. And one of the things that also inhibits.
Well, it has. Now, Dr. Sebi told us that he says we don't need sunscreen. We have natural sunscreen, and that goes for shades, glasses. And I asked this optometrist about shades, and she kind of laughed. I know she was taught in the colonizer school of she's a doctor of what eye doctor, and I asked her about shades. I was telling her about Dr. Sebi, and she laughed. She thought it was funny, and she says we need sunscreen and we need to wear shades. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
Of course, she's telling you need to pay her. You need to spend money with me. No, we are sunscreen. We are sunshade. We don't need any of that. We are blocking the natural light, right? We're the biophotons. We're blocking it. That keeps us basically in bondage. You see? More sun, more freeness. Just think of it like that. You're going to be freer. Your bones are going to be healthier because you need that sunlight to make your bones strong, to help you digest, to have more circulation. You see? Now, the reason why we need to detoxify from parasites every time the seasons change is because every 3 months, the parasites mate and they eat all in a moon cycle. They live in moon cycles. It's what they call a circadian rhythm. Every 3 months, every 3 moon cycles, you have just created a whole new civilization of parasites. And almost every disease is connected to parasites. Almost every single one of them. You see? But by detoxifying these parasites on a regular basis, your body's going to be healthier. You're going to be clearer. You're going to be more focused. You're going to crave foods that are good for you. You're going to have a better attitude. You're going to be able to say no. Like right now, people are, a lot of folks have been calling to get their cleanse for this season, and they're going to take it right through the holiday. Why not? Even if you cheat on Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving or whatever you want to call it, even if you cheat, at least take your stuff with you. Pour the herbs on the chicken or the turkey or whatever. You can do that too if you have to. But yes, the Total Body Paracleanse program and the elevated total body paracleanse program were created to get rid of systemic parasites. Now, somebody was arguing with me the other day.
Dr. B, hold that thought right there. So should you do it before Thanksgiving, the holiday? You know you're going to pig out, or should you wait till after Christmas or after the New Year?
I would do it now, during, and after. Right now, with this weather switching up the way it did, everybody's immune system's just shifted because we're not used to being this cold this quickly. So your system is a little off. So this is the time to do this. You see what I'm saying? And go deep, because what's happening is these bugs are becoming energized with us being out of our natural vibration, out of our natural loop. You see? And let me say this really quickly, because somebody told me the other day, well, Dr. B, I got some stuff I take for parasites, and he told me what it was. And I said, listen, that doesn't kill the bioweapons. You see, there's bugs, ethnospecific pathogens that were created for certain ethnic groups. There's super bugs that are here. There's things that were created for war, like anthrax. You're going to tell me that your little black walnut and your wormwood, and that's going to do that? No. You've got to have a very special, rhythmic, scheduled formulation to actually begin to disintegrate that stuff from your system. That's what we have been working on for many years. So that's the Total Body Paracleanse program and the Elevated Total Body program. And there is going to be a special for this week until Sunday. So anybody that, would like to partake, and if you go to our webinar tomorrow night, the free webinar, we're going to be a special discount for everybody that listens to that webinar. I'm going to give out a lot of information. And I know I said it was going to be from 7 to 9, but usually it goes on for longer because it gets deep. You can ask questions. I'm going to drop the science because 2020, Carl, is the time we're supposed to totally awaken. Totally awaken, not stay woke. No, be awakened in an awakened state and be back in control of ourselves. Because some of the stuff that we think is conscious and is positive and oh boy, it's full of light and we got to be high vibrational. I'm telling you, you're getting fooled again. You don't want to be enlightened. It's best to be in darkened, because everything living and all of life comes from darkness. Darkness. You got to go into the darkness, into the quiet. Deal with the part of yourself that you've been hiding. Because there's parasites, there's bacteria, there's viruses.
We're racing the clock, but for folks who for the weather's changed markedly for a lot of folks. It's gotten real cold, Dr. B. Is there anything different we should be doing now as far as eating?
Yeah, you should eat foods in season. And also, I'm going to say one other thing. This is going to sound crazy. We should be listening to music that's tuned to specific frequencies, because that changes the way your entire body works. Listen to music that's tuned to certain frequencies, because music is food. One more thing. My new Medicine Music Collective 2 album just came out this morning. It's on the website. Medicine Music Collective 2. Listen to that music, because that changes the vibration of your body.
Right.
The music is your food.
This is the
Thank
music
you very
you
much.
should be listening to, this kind of music. Before we go, how can folks reach you real quick, Dr. B?
My direct phone number is 323-931-1212. That's 323-931-1212. And you can also find me on the web at elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com.